Hey, everybody. The doors are closed so we can start finally figuring out the eternal mystery that has plagued man since the dawn of time. What is worse, video games based on movies or movies based on video games? This is Caravan of Garbage. My name is Andrew Levins, your host for the next hour. You may know me for, like 1% of you may know me from podcasts, including Hey Fam, Serious Issues, and those inferior ones not on the Planet Broadcasting Network. Shouts to all the small games. But everyone here is here to see these two gentlemen, one of which we had no idea what he even looked like 2 years ago. And I'm going to introduce him right now. His name is Mr. Sunday Movies, a.k.a. James.
Hello, thank you. Oh, hello. Sorry. I genuinely didn't expect that. I expected silence. So yeah, but thank you very much. We had no idea how many people were coming, so this is really surprising and great.
I'm expecting a bigger round of applause. So if we could really fire this up, that'd be great. Here we go.
But of course, you know James is one of the hosts of the Weekly Planet, and of course the host of his own YouTube channel, Mr. Sunday Movies.
Thank you.
I was thinking of a racist one to say, but I just couldn't think of any. Okay. But of course, next to him is the other host of Weekly Planet. He may have given you a lift here at some point at PAX in the past. Tram driver and just man of the internet. We have Mr. Nicholas Mason. Please
hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you. Thank you.
I was pushing for booze then.
Uh-huh.
You didn't see me do it, but it didn't work. Oh, well, next time I'll get you.
So the Weekly Planet, as those of you will know, is red hot comic book movie news shooting up your butthole every single week, but...
We need to change that.
We will never change that.
Apparently someone thought it was about fisting. So
Really?
Yeah. It was a great day to read that message. But you guys, when you're not talking about red hot comic book movie news, you are sometimes playing video games, specifically bad ones.
Yes.
Well, we hope it's not always bad ones. Like, there's a glimmer of... There's a tiny little expectation that some of them are going to be good.
Yeah, we hit one every now and then.
Yeah, we want it to either be really good or really bad. In the middle, no good for content. Well, you know what I mean?
Who's going to come to a video page called, like, Caravan of Pretty Good?
Yeah, exactly.
What's opposite of garbage? Caravan of Treasures?
Yeah.
Actually, I would go
Courage?
to that, so, yeah, Caravan, sure.
Oh my God, I've just worked that out.
So on your channel, James, you have Caravan of Garbage.
Yes, it's the least popular thing we do, but I really enjoy it.
And so
now, my interactions with people in real life are the least popular thing I do.
Okay. For those of you who aren't familiar with Caravan of Garbage, we have prepared this very special clip so you can see in the flesh what it is all about.
That's me. I'm there. It's a little animated, mate.
I'm the world behind the thing.
Oh, good for you.
Okay, it's walking. Oh, this is really intense.
He's a step up from the stormtrooper.
Oh. Yes! All right. Now, we could escape on that helicopter. Or we could be killed by the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Anyway, we're going to go. Ah! You're going to fall through the hole.
I'm never going to fall through the hole,
You're going to
Mason.
fall through the hole.
In the world's greatest karate tournament.
I can't get up here! It's dirty!
You scared the dog.
Sorry, dog.
It's okay.
They just keep piling up on me. Look at this!
Well, I think I was going to say you're probably towards the end of the map, but you are not.
I'm nowhere near it.
Oh, this is...
America.
America. Son of America.
Something America.
Get him! That's who you gotta... It must be that guy. Go after him.
Probably. But there's also... Wait.
Kill him.
I will. Hang on.
Oh, no!
Which one is attack, though? I don't...
Block!
I'm dead and my butthole's exposed for all to see. Okay, I tricked everybody.
You're tricking so many people.
Tricking so many people. Oh, I mean it. Jesus! Wow, I was really killed there. That really... Wow!
Look at the head on him.
Oh.
Look at his head.
Oh, man.
Oh, that is...
He's got great hair,
They
though.
tried to give him the hair and everything. Look at his flat face.
No, this is... Look. Oh, no! Graphics-wise, this is one of the worst things that's ever happened, I feel.
Very good stuff. Those are all the good games, right?
Yeah, those are the good ones.
That was the top 3%, yeah.
That's it, yeah.
So today we're going to go through games that we're going to start with the good, the video games based on movies that we think are just good.
Yes.
Then we're going to do the bad. And while these are, maybe they led to good things in the future, they're still pretty bad games. Maybe we have a soft spot for them, but they're bad. And then finally, of course, what you're here for is the ugly. The worst games that is irredeemably terrible based on movies. And then after that, we're going to talk about movies based on video games, of which there are significantly less than there are video games based on movies.
But they're all significantly worse.
So let's start with the good.
Sure.
And I think the easiest one to go off, because just then in that little clip we saw games from the SNES era. Mm-hmm. We saw games from the PS1. Is it the Mummy's PS1?
Yeah, that's the Mummy. Yep. And Planet of the Apes, yeah.
Yep. Unmistakable polygonal flat face. And what else is the other one? Like PS2?
Yeah, there was Captain America's PS3, which is a kind of good one.
Uh-huh.
I think that's
spoilers.
it. Yeah. Oh, sorry. But no, nothing too early. Nothing earlier than this. Then the Nintendo, that was the earliest one, the Japanese Star Wars one.
So obviously we're going to be talking about games that we have like a fondness for, our memories of, like there's a lot of the SNES era games that I think in my head are good, and then you replay them, you're like, oh, this is not good at all.
James said to me, do you want to do a panel at PAX? And I said, can I talk at uncomfortable length about the 1989 Batman, the movie game on the Amiga 500? And he said yes, but he was dead behind the eyes. So I'm going to do it anyway.
It's got a driving level.
It's got a platform level. It's got a let's
talk about that first. What year is Batman Amiga 500?
This is 1989. This is the first game I ever bought.
Has anybody played that here?
Sure, a sea of games.
See? 4. That's 50% of the people here have played that.
And that's double the amount of people that listen to Hey Fam. Well,
it was in. I think there's a golden era for like video game adaptations of movies, because prior to that, like if you're talking like the early 80s, there's E.T. right? There's not enough games were not sophisticated enough to
look like anything.
Look like anything,
like,
exactly.
The red dot is the one of the Ghostbusters, and the blue dot is the ghost.
Yes,
and
exactly. And then now video game systems are too complicated. They have too much. Like you can't be like, okay, do you want to pay $90 for a game that goes 2 hours? It fully encapsulates the movie, but
right, yeah. Do you think that's why people have stopped making them now, or as much? Because they're too complicated to push them out as quickly.
Making Amiga games, you mean?
No, sorry, I mean modern movie games.
I'm still making Amiga games in my basement.
Well, I think a majority of movie games are now just like apps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, oh, it's Frogger or Crossy Road or whatever, but it's the Hunger Games characters.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Why are they crossing the road? I don't know. But what's the fondness for the Batman Amiga 500?
That was also the first, I think it was one of the first movies I saw in the cinema, and it was the first one where I realized that Batman was in fact real. He's a real man.
What was he before that?
Well, I'd seen him on like the 1960s TV show, and I'm like, okay, well, but you could be like, okay, well, it's just dudes playing dress up here. But I saw the trailer for the Batman '89, and I'm like, Batman's real now. Look at his grimdark suit. Look at the Batwing. Look at
his Nikes.
Look at his Nikes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was wearing Nikes. Look, next time you watch it, it's crazy. Yeah, it's really bizarre. Is it a good game though? Like, if you played it, I actually went to play it last night, but my teeth were really sore because I got them whitened for this event. This is a true story. Nobody needs to know that, but had a nap instead.
We were meant to record last night and he couldn't because his mouth hurt so much.
And Mason was working and I had a thing that I had to cancel because I was home sick with sore teeth.
And he's also brought a little container of cubed cheese.
Yes,
for the event.
Which is going to hand
snacks
out
for energy.
Yeah, if anyone gets a question right, you get a cube of cheese.
That's right. No, I will. I'll get the cheese ready, right?
But yeah, is Batman Amiga 500, do you stand by it? In 2018, is it a good game?
Look, I've played it as an adult. For reals. And
just throw them out to people.
I think it holds up. Because we go back before this podcast was a thing. We contemplated doing a podcast called Never Go Back, where we went and we would go back to things we loved in our childhoods, whether they be video games or toys or what have you, and would inevitably discover that they were terrible, and we made some bad choices as kids. But I think that stuff we did play as kids, like that's way better than stuff we did, like, because it has that certain nostalgia value, and you can be like, oh, I remember this. Okay, it is terrible, but it's
You remember this level?
I remember
and
this level,
yeah.
and I remember how do you beat the boss and stuff like that. It's stuff that we never played, that we have to play as adults for the first time, that turns out to be terrible.
Well, for me, I never really played the Super Star Wars games, and they're horrible. I know a lot of people really like them, and I'm really sorry, but those are brutal.
They're so
and
hard.
not fun.
Yeah.
But I think that was also the era of, well, you got to get your money's worth. You know what I mean? This game has to last you 16 years. You've got to make sure you can't pass the second level. It was that kind of era. And because there was those and like the Indiana Jones games, you know, they made those trilogies. Those, I guess would you count them as the golden era?
Absolutely the golden era, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But good?
When I was young and vital, yes.
Yeah, sure.
So of course that's
when
the
your
golden
thumbs
era.
worked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I getcha. Yeah.
Nick got his thumbs whitened for today as well. So if we're talking about superhero games, for me, the first one I think about, and it is a movie tie-in as well. Like, we didn't count ones that are just like, you know, oh, it's a Spider-Man game or it's a Batman game. So I guess the Arkham games don't really count.
Yeah.
They are good though. But for me, Spider-Man 2 on the PS2
Yes.
is a game that I replayed recently in the lead up for the PS4 Spidey game coming out. And like, it is like kind of clunky, but just that feeling of swinging from building to building, you don't get what we get in the PS4 game without first having that as a stepping stone. I think it is a really fun game, provided you don't try and save any fucking balloons.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
That's a reference to a game I haven't played, but I love it. I love that you've said it. It's great.
There's the swinging is good in general until you get to that really precise kind of moments.
Okay, with the balloons, guys.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know. I played that. I played.
How do you save the balloons?
40 hours.
Like, because if you web them, they pop.
You got to get there quick. You got to get there quick before they're
And
too
then
high
what?
off the
Hug
ground.
them or
You got to
something?
be jumping height to be able to get them.
Okay.
You can't swing into them. It's
I know what
too
I'm doing after
imprecise.
this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a great game though. I mean, there's been some good Spider-Man games since. I think Web of Shadows is pretty good, but nothing does the swinging like that until the most recent one. Though you mentioned of the recent one, and I agree with you for once, you dickhead.
He admitted it. He added an insult at the end, but he admitted it.
The one thing missing from the new swinging is you can't die if you go too high.
You can fall 1,000 feet and you're fine, right?
Yeah.
I think they need in that game there needs to be, and I say this knowing full well that if they implemented this, I would complain about it. But there needs to be like a danger meter. Like if you drop more, like there's a red line, and if you drop further than that, you can sustain some injury unless you like combat roll out of it or something like that, you know?
But Spider-Man 2 also included things that I love about
Tobey Maguire.
Exactly, so I was going to get to. Like actual voice casts, like the cast from the movie showing up and doing voice work. And occasionally it was like, hey, Tobey Maguire, can you say no more than 12 things that we can repeat repeatedly for the rest of the game? But Bruce Campbell
he's great.
is the narrator of the entire game, which is really, really
fun. And the
fun.
first and third one as well, maybe?
I guess so, sure.
Yeah.
But the first one's not good because you couldn't go on the ground.
Yes.
So there's just this like unavoidable mist on
yeah.
the ground, and if you fall in it, you're dead.
That's it.
Hey, New York gets foggy sometimes.
Boy,
you know?
does it.
That's what it is.
It's actually Galactus from the Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, right. Just hanging out down there.
He's lying low. I like it.
I think this one really set the trend for a lot of video games, and I think it still holds up despite the controls. GoldenEye, which came out
64.
on the 64.
Or the Wii version.
Or the Wii version, which I've heard is also fine. But that control is horrible. You need 4 hands to use it. But you can buy ones that kind of, the buttons have been remapped, the new controllers that you can.
We're doing a live podcast right now, so we could do like a little slappers only impersonation just for the people that are here, that everyone listening at home like plebs won't understand.
Yeah.
But we won't.
But I sunk a lot of time into that, and I think the single player is still good. You hate it, I think.
I do hate it. Yeah. But it turns out
Mesa lost his parents to proximity mines very early on in his life.
Brutal. Yeah.
I was having breakfast with my dad, and Odd Job cut his head off with that darn bowler
Slapped his
hat.
head off.
Yeah.
His dad had DK mode on. It was unavoidable.
Yeah, but that was like, I mean, people played that like people play Fortnite now. I assume. I've never played Fortnite.
Constantly dabbing while playing.
Yeah, constantly dabbing while playing. Getting Red Bull endorsements. It's just like Fortnite. But, no, I think I think that kind of changed the game for not only first-person shooters, but to be like, hey, you can make a good, game based off a movie 4 years after the movie came out, or 2 years, or whatever it was.
And it made more than GoldenEye the film, I believe.
Yes.
By this point, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think there's some licensing issues because of why they can't re-release it. Because I like to see an updated version of that.
Yeah, I want James Bond or Oddjob in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just slapping and shooting people. That'd be great. So those are all ones that like everyone in the room has either played or or heard a great deal of. There are a few on here that I'm just going to cut to the chase. James, why is Riddick on the good list?
Isn't Riddick really good? I've never played it, but everyone talks
Why
about
isn't-
Riddick Escape from Butcher's Bay. Thank
It's great.
you,
Okay.
Rick. Yeah, it is, apparently.
But I don't know. I don't know if I'm trusting the guy dressed up as Rick from Rick and Morty. who is now going to be known as Riddick and Morty for the rest of the day.
But it did first-person combat. I think it was the first game to do that well. It had stealth elements. Vin Diesel was in it because he's a big gamer / D&D / hates The Rock or whatever in real life, whatever.
Slash potato head.
/ potato head, yeah. So it's all
Egg.
of those things. Look, I've never played it, but I've heard good things, and I'll stand by that.
Well, okay, what about The Matrix, Path of Neo?
Yeah, okay, that is good. We've played a lot of that.
Oh, yeah.
So that is came out well after the movies. It's the Matrix trilogy in a video game where you play it through from Neo escaping his office, where he's just a regular guy.
I mean, you have to do some office work beforehand.
You do, yeah.
The start is a little slow.
stapling,
Do you have
filing.
to choose a pill at the start?
You do. You choose the pill, and if you pick the wrong one, it's just game over. You
Really?
just wake up. Yes.
Okay, I love it now. This is
Yeah.
the best game ever made.
It kind of took what was good about Into the Matrix, which was some of the combat and.
What I enjoy about
other
that
bits?
is there would be some people out there who purchased the game and were like, I like blue. I'm going to choose blue. And they never progressed any further.
that's right.
They spent $60 on it and they're like, was it? I guess, sure.
Is there a button that when you press it, it just makes Keanu say, whoa?
There might just be, but they also change elements of it. Sometimes for the worse, sometimes for the better. There's a moment because they have to pad it out to a full game. There's a moment where you go into a weird dimension,
Like
where
an
you just-
upside down dimension.
where you
It's
fight-
like an MC Escher dimension.
Yeah.
And you fight giant ants.
giant ants. Yeah, so there's just a level like that, and at the end,
You know, like in the movies.
yeah, like the movies. And instead of the end where, he becomes one with the source and whatever happens at the end of those movies, he just fights a giant Agent Smith who's just throwing cars at you. So that's the end of the
All
game.
the hundreds of Agent Smiths combine into
Yeah.
one Agent Smith, the giant one.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And the combat's kind of Arkham-esque, and I recommend it.
Did you ever play the Matrix online MMO?
Did you?
No, I
Okay.
know it's got a cult following.
Yeah, right. Is it someone's still running on a private server or something?
I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
Some eccentric billionaire out there. I do know that the finale, they pitched like a big storyline finale for the Matrix Online. And it was going to be this enormous battle royale.
They're going to bring back the ants.
They were going to bring exactly. They were going to give a satisfying ending, and apparently in the last 20 minutes the server crashed. So it's like people, okay, well that's very Matrixy. So you got us
is
actually,
it?
yeah.
They didn't have an ending.
No.
So the server crashed. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
So for some reason, everyone in this room right now is not playing the Rockstar game Red Dead Redemption 2. But
Wait, what? I gotta go.
but which is an enormous, Rockstar game that they're known for now. But there is a Rockstar game from not that long ago that was quite smaller in scope. That was the Warriors game, which is a really great 3D brawler game that has elements of day-to-day kind of activities in between all the fights.
Yeah.
I think it's a sick game, and I would love for them to they should have
Wait, define day-to-day activities. Like, do you have to tend your garden patch? Or?
Punching minorities.
Oh, okay, cool, great. All right. I'm back on
70s.
board. Oh, yeah, no, okay.
It's the 70s. Yeah. That's a movie I've never seen, but it's a game I have played on the PSP, which doesn't play so well on that. But no, it's really... I'm surprised they haven't remastered it. Because didn't they remaster Bully or...
Yeah, there is a remaster, I think.
there is?
Yeah.
Never mind. I'll show my mouth.
I trust that
Yeah.
guy who just told us that because he's not dressed as Rick from Rick and Morty.
He had some cheese.
That's all it takes. Rick, you can get it some cheese too. I'll allow it.
This is an OH&S nightmare. I do not approve of this.
That's true. No, why is anybody eating this? Thanks, Rick.
Hey, Rick, do you have any pickles to go with the cheese?
Not on him. Oh, excellent.
Thank you for the slow clap. But yeah, The Warriors is a really, really great game, and it's a rare instance of a game being made from a movie from long ago, as opposed to a tie-in when the movie is currently out.
And I think that's what works for it. It wasn't a particularly well-known movie. I mean, it is. It's got a cult following, but they took their time on it. I think a lot of the reasons why a lot of these are bad is because they rushed them. And this one, they took 30 years to get it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They waited for technology to catch up. And they got all the cast back and everything. They did it all. Yeah.
I think that's also one of the reasons that the license, the tie-in game has died, is because we are now in this spoiler culture where we can't, imagine going to a game company and being like, okay, Avengers 4 is coming out in 2 years. we need you to make a tie in Avengers 4 game.
Yeah.
P.S. Here's the plot to Avengers 4, just to help you build this.
Yeah.
And then some dev who has to work 70 hours a week is like, well, I could make this game, or I could sell this for $100,000.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because I remember the Revenge of the Sith game, which is okay. I think it's on the okay list. So, that just has the ending. And it came out a day before the movie. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of the footage was in it. And
Right.
it's just, so that would never happen now.
But to be fair, the Star Wars were also just spoiling who died on like the soundtrack.
That's true, yeah.
Wasn't one of them was just called?
Yeah, Qui-Gon's Noble End.
That's
The
right.
Phantom Menace. That's true. Yeah.
Christopher Lee gets his head cut off. Brackets sad theme.
So you have got one Star Wars game in your good list.
Yeah.
Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah, I think the first two, I don't really like the new ones, even though I got paid to endorse the last one.
But to be fair, you sunk all that money right back into in-game transactions.
I did, absolutely. They didn't mention any of that to me. I said, what's in it? What? I asked those questions. They're like, we're still kind of nutting out the thing. Can you just make this video? And I did so not on playing it. And then they were going to fly me over to LA to play it. And then Claire pushed for, no one cares about this. Claire pushed for first class tickets. And so they just shut the whole thing down. So I didn't end up going. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then it turned out that all this controversy, so it was fine. I was like, dodge that bullet. Yeah. Except for that one video I did make on it already. Yeah. But no, the original ones, because they follow a lot of the stories of the movies, prequels all the way up. They're really great games. Yeah. And I don't know why the new ones aren't as good. It baffles me. Well, I know why.
Because there's no single-player campaign.
Second one there is.
Oh, right. Of
yeah.
course. But that's weird how it like crosses generations, which is not something anyone really wants to do.
Yeah. Yeah. But, did you play them?
I've seen them.
Wow. Okay. Tell us about that.
So it was like the screen,
Yeah. Okay.
and there was like moving images on the screen.
Screen more like wide or like boxy?
Wide, no,
Okay.
wide.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all I remember.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You'd remember this.
Good segue.
Here we go.
Okay.
Terminator 2, the arcade game.
Oh, yeah,
Which was ported to the Super Nintendo. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah. So what I remember is square screen, moving images. No, but I mean that's just such a perfect arcade adaptation because all the flash forwards to the future in the Terminator movies. It may as well be an arcade game. You just have robots popping up out of nowhere and shooting at you. I have such fond memories of like not even playing that game, just going to an arcade and just watching the demo.
Yeah,
loop
right.
on my own one because it was just so like colorful and frantic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so my memory of that definitely on the good list.
All right.
I don't think I've ever played it though.
What are your memories of it? No, you have played it, right?
I have played it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you remember, like, you'd shoot the Terminators and their skin would come off? Like in 16-bit, it was crazy.
Yeah,
what an era of video
Let's
gaming.
talk about Terminator 2 on the Amiga 500.
Is there a running game and a driving game?
There's a fighting level. There's a driving level. There's a level where you shoot cops. It's got it all.
God.
So the Terminator arcade game was like a first-person shooting game.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Was the Aliens one? I know there was one that was side-scrolling, but there was also one where you had an actual gun.
Yeah.
That you were shooting aliens off spaceships and stuff like that.
That sounds right.
You've got Aliens Arcade. Is that the one you're not talking about?
I'm talking about we did an episode on it, the side-scrolling one, which it's very loosely Aliens.
Oh, Alien 3?
No, we played the arcade Aliens. Like, it's Hicks, but he's got red hair, and Ripley, but she's blonde. Do you remember? Vaguely.
People are allowed to change their look.
You're right.
These glasses are new. How
That's
dare
true.
you?
Yeah, they're new glasses, everyone. Just yesterday. Yeah, they weren't going to let him drive trams. That's true. So, yeah, that's a great game. What about the Lego games? Do you think? I mean, where do they sit for you guys?
I love my favorite Marvel game besides Amazing Spider-Man 2 and I guess the new Spider-Man one. Is
Amazing Spider-Man.
Whatever. Sorry, Spider-Man 2.
Okay,
It's amazing. All right.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I'm with
is
you.
Marvel superheroes,
Right?
Lego, but the Lego Marvel superheroes game. But I think that's the pinnacle of like the Lego games. I always like buy them and I'm like, oh, more of this thing again.
Yeah.
But I now just buy them because I'm like, at one point I'm going to play them with my kid. But they're like 40 hours long and I have like 12 of them now. Like, how much
Kids.
time am I going to have? Yeah, 2 kids. Yeah, good point. But they're the best Harry Potter games, right? Is the Lego ones? What's yes? Yeah,
People are nodding.
Hey, feel free to
Yes.
like yell at us.
Yeah, that's fine.
You might
Yeah.
get cheesed.
You might. You might.
There's only 3 cubes left.
That's right. Yeah, I know you're not a fan of the no consequences in those games.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's
They're not for you, Mason.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. That's what you say every time I come over to your house. You're there playing. You're like, they're not for you. Get out of here.
I was blown away by the first one, though, because the first one they did, I think, was
Star Wars.
the Star Wars one, the prequel trilogy. And it was just a lot of fun, and they hadn't done anything like that before, and they're all just kind of that since then, with various improvements.
I preferred them when the Lego men didn't actually talk. They just kind of like,
Yeah.
But now they have like full on, like the Marvel ones, they like sample dialogue from the movies.
And they do additional
it doesn't work.
dialogue as well.
I just want my Lego minifigs make like Lego minifigs grunt again.
Yeah.
So I've got two questions for you guys.
Okay.
Does Kingdom Hearts count? And also, is Kingdom Hearts good?
I have never played it, and it's not good.
I
don't know.
I have these
played it,
games.
and I don't know if it's good.
I love the games. I don't know if they're good. Because this is like, you play an insane Japanese creation that has the ability to go from Lego World to Disney World to Disney World. So you play like, like a Tarzan level or like a Lion King level or a Beauty and the Beast level. And they like really faithfully recreate like scenes from within that movie, but then you're also just playing as like this like anime nightmare who wields a gigantic key and fights like either the villain from the movie or like just like someone like throwing like darts at a thing with a bunch of ideas. It's like, yes, it's a spider that wears a crown and it's also a robot. That's what you're going to fight.
So is it generic anime and everything that's ever been in Disney? Is that...
Yeah, I mean, generic is mean. But,
okay.
But it also might not be good.
I mean
I love it, but like the story is the most convoluted, insane thing. And I feel like what drew a lot of people to Kingdom Hearts to begin with is the fact that it like had all these Disney properties.
Yeah.
But now the main story of Kingdom Hearts is like, there's like a guy whose heart has been put into another guy, and the shadow of what once was him is now a nobody.
You're thinking of the movie Crank.
Yeah.
Or Dragonheart.
So I just wonder if that stops it from being like the love letter to Disney that it said it was going to be to begin with.
Do you think it should be just that?
Is Kingdom Hearts good?
The loudest person said no, so the answer's no.
Okay. Have a piece of cheese.
Can you fight Dumbo?
It has not. I haven't fought Dumbo yet.
Okay.
I've definitely fought a robot elephant wearing a crown, but it wasn't Dumbo.
Dumbo. Okay, right. Mm-hmm.
So picking of Disney very quickly, I love the Aladdin games.
There's two. They're different, aren't
There's
they?
two. Yeah, one was made by Capcom, the other one was made by Virgin Interactive. One's on Mega Drive, the one's on SNES, and that was like a crazy era because like a different platform would have a different developer making it. But in that case, they're both really good.
Yeah.
The Mega Drive one is like way more cartoony, whereas the Capcom SNES one is very SNES based, but it has better platforming. So in my opinion, both good.
Okay.
Great music.
Yeah.
Like MIDI versions of the Aladdin songs.
That was the era where I went, oh, things can look like things. Because prior to that,
prior to that, you had no object permanence.
That's right. But if you
Here's a bottle of water. Now it doesn't exist anymore.
But like you look at that Japanese Star Wars game, and it's Luke Skywalker with black hair fighting a scorpion who was in Darth Vader's armor. But this was like this just looks like a cartoon. It looks like Aladdin.
So we're halfway through and we haven't even started to shit on anything yet, which is why everyone's here. But do you want to quickly tick off King Kong and X-Men Origins and
we don't need to go through all of these.
Return of the King?
Are they good? Return of the King's great. Really good.
Okay.
Other ones, X-Men Origins is fine. I don't know why I put in that list. We recently did it. It's good.
I'd love it if the developer for X-Men Origins Wolverine was here and they just ran away in tears.
They did a good job considering it's a movie-based game in 2009 and they got it out on time and it's better than the movie and it's kind of like God of War and you put a guy into a helicopter.
And if they were here right now, they'd totally get a piece of cheese. So let's get to the...
and if you get slashed on your shirt rips.
Yeah, but then also heals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a whatever section, aka the bad section in between good and ugly. And I'm very excited to talk about every side scroller on the SNES and Mega Drive. We mentioned the good one. Is Aladdin potentially the only good one? I like the Jurassic Park game.
Yeah, the second one?
I can't remember which one it is.
There's two, because there's the one up there.
I clearly don't like it that much. I don't remember which one it was.
There's like one called Operation Genesis or something. I can't remember. We did it.
Operation Raptor Drop. Yeah, that's the one you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, but both of them sort of convert Alan Grant from this kind of this paleontologist who just wants to unearth hidden knowledge to this guy just wielding a lightning
and also
whip.
unearth things in poo.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. There's no unearthing things in poo minigame.
There would be now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because everything got a video game then. Because the ones I've got here are Lethal Weapon, Cliffhanger, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Just everything just went, yeah, let's just do a cliffhanger game. There's a Last Action Hero game. There's just... They just did them all, and they're all fine.
Yeah, there's a Home Improvement game.
Yes, there is, yeah.
Which is like a side-scroller. And I think that's because they had in the opening credits to Home Improvement, like there was like an animated bit of the kids in a video
there
game.
was too,
and someone was like, we've got to make this.
That's why there's a nanny
The
video
fans
game.
are begging for it. I don't know if you've ever heard a 16-bit version of Oh. It sounds pretty good.
I bet it does.
Oh, there was a Wayne's World game as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
Yeah, just anything.
And there's 2 Home Alone games that both should be in either. They can make the
Is
whatever.
Trump in the second one? Like the movie?
I feel that works very much as a game though, because it's a kid setting deadly traps. So that's
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's
it's
fun.
not though. It's like a platformer game where you are like running away from like toasters and blenders and pairs of scissors.
That's dangerous to a kid.
Yeah.
Sounds like they got it right. Oh, what else we got here? Do you ever play The Phantom Menace?
Yeah, so we've got a whole bunch of Star Wars games here that
Yeah.
are firmly in the meh territory.
Yeah.
Explain yourself.
Phantom Menace is just The Phantom Menace, except much longer. So take that whatever way you want. The combat's okay. It's kind of isometric, and the first level, you open up on the Trade Federation ship and you cut your way out of there, but then it's like, find Jar Jar Binks' key to get the bongo machine to get to the surface or whatever. Then it just becomes that. But the combat's not too bad, and it's not good.
Yeah, I think a lot of the games based on movies like go towards suck territory because they have to be like longer. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you get those immense padded out moments. I remember that the Toy Story 3 game on PS3 was really great because you played that opening where Toy Story 2 where Buzz Lightyear infiltrates Zurg's
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
spaceship. Then you get to play that as a video game. It's really good. But then there's just bizarre levels where there's witches and shit like
And
that.
the incinerator scene at the end just goes for 2 hours and you can't skip it.
I think I wouldn't mind. I think for all video games, just be like, this is 4 hours, but it's a really good 4 hours. I'll pay full price for that. It doesn't need to be 22 hours. I don't need to collect every feather in Assassin's Creed or whatever. I just don't know why they do that.
They should just give you a sack of feathers at the start, and you have all the feathers.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what I think.
So
yeah.
there's a Saw video game.
There is. We
Yeah, we
played
played
it.
that, yeah.
It's not bad.
Uh-huh.
It's. I think some of the writers.
Was it written by the director?
I think it was. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think they both were involved, but it's surprisingly okay. Yeah.
I mean, we for a lot of this stuff, we play it for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's our impression of it. A lot
Then,
of people
then
will,
it sits on my desk forever. Yeah.
a lot of people will message us or YouTube comment like, "Why are you guys so bad at this?" Because we played it for 20 minutes. We're not playing it for 4 hours.
No, we're not.
There's no practice involved here.
We're not trying to
but
get good.
What we did play of that is actually if we had the time to commit to that, it's actually pretty good. It's got proper Saw style traps. It's got you sticking your hand into a toilet full of syringes. Just like
Hell
the movies.
yeah. Finally.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So it's fine. If you played The Thing,
Yes, I have, yeah.
so explain, because there's a broken mechanic in that game, isn't there?
The mechanic of this is based on the John Carpenter movie.
Yeah.
And
It's a sequel though, yeah?
it is a sequel, yeah. Because at the end at the end of the movie we still don't know who the Thing is. But I got a pretty good guess. It's not Kurt Russell, it's the other guy.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Spoilers. But the mechanic of the Thing is you have to unearth the clues to figure out which person the Thing is. And it's a random person every time, but you can't just go, or is it the same person every time?
I have no idea.
It's the same. It's the same person every time, but you can't just go up to that person and kill them straight away. Because if you do, they're not the Thing.
Right, okay, gotcha.
So
Who is?
It's not Kurt Russell.
Right.
I can tell you that much.
Guaranteed, yeah. Did you ever play Street Fighter the movie, the game?
Yes.
Did you play it as well?
Which
No, but I saw Street Fighter the movie, the game, the movie.
yeah, great. There is a Wikipedia page. It's video games based on movies based on video games. There's 3.
Is there really?
It's Street Fighter the movie, the game. It's the Ratchet and Clank reboot.
Oh, yep.
Because that's based on the
okay,
movie.
yeah.
Oh, good.
And
That should be in the good category.
And it's
That's
Double
great.
Dragon 1995, which is the one. It's a one-on-one fighter based on the movie. So
There you go. They never did a Mortal Kombat one, did they?
no,
Based on the movie.
no.
That's a shame.
So is
But yeah,
is Street Fighter the movie the game just like your standard Street Fighter?
No, it's
One's
got.
good and one's bad, right?
No, they're all bad.
I think Capcom fixed one.
Did they?
I think. Is
I
that
played
right?
that.
Capcom, you here?
We'll take
cheese
Cap
in
or
it for
Call.
you.
Either of you is here. No, it's it's done Mortal Kombat style, so they rotoscoped real actors and put them into the game.
The
but
best way to make a video game.
Yeah, they got Raul Julia's corpse and they rotoscoped it.
So that was his last performance.
That was his last performance,
Wow,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense to me.
Let's move from meh to bad.
One more, quickly. Batman Begins is fine.
Okay, great.
You can't survive in a room with combat unless you frighten them with, like, bursting a steam pipe. And everyone in the room gets frightened, and then you can drop down and Christian Bale them.
Oh, boiled water.
Yeah,
no.
that's the game.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't even need to bring that up, but
I'm glad you did.
Me too.
You finally got a public forum to air all your grievances about video games, so here it is.
Let's move into bad territory, and should we start by just shitting on Atari?
Yep, they're all bad. See, we've got E.T. here, and E.T.'s bad, but every Atari game is bad, really.
Yeah, but E.T. is like the most well-known, terrible, like, it almost ended video games.
Yes.
It's so bad.
It was made in 5 or 6 weeks, I think, to coincide with the movie.
And now there are houses in California built on top of those games. Like, there's just like...
Cursed houses.
Yeah, they just like empty millions of copies of E.T. into landfills. It's true, right?
That's true. They found it.
Yeah.
The Angry Video Game Nerd movie was based around that myth, and while he was making it, they unearthed it, so it was true. And he's like, "Oh shit! Well, that's kind of thrown a wrench into this movie." But yeah, it's a real thing.
But it is, yeah. It's like, it is them like playing with the restrictions of the time. So like you can't be anything except a square, which just has to be like E.T. or one of the Goonies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it was just like a very simple thing of like moving one thing to another or shooting something. Shooting a slightly smaller square into a bigger square that's not the same color as you.
Yeah, and a hint is like going off the screen, picking up something, coming back, and then going back and then dropping it, and then going right to the top, and then you can get through that door that doesn't even look like a door. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to a lot of these games. They're just absolute madness, and you'd never get through them.
I think Ghostbusters is actually pretty good.
Disagree, it's horrible.
All right, then. But you can tell who everybody is in it.
Which bits? The bit where you play as the Ghostbuster logo and you go around town?
I might be thinking of the Master System version now that I think
yeah, because there are a couple versions, yeah. So it's good.
No, actually, in retrospect,
with
this new information,
the Ghostbusters
what you've said is
game,
bad.
You play as one of two white squares that are the Ghostbusters, and then you have to line the two Ghostbusters up, and then they both fire their beams, and you have to catch a ghost, which is just like a green triangle.
Yes.
I'm thinking of the Master System version. I retract my entire argument.
So one thing we have not talked about much is the Marvel, like the MCU games.
Yeah.
Because there are a few of them. It's like, one of the most baffling things that there aren't many games linked to the biggest film franchise in the world right now. Of course, we have one coming from Square and Crystal Dynamics at some point in our future.
Where is it? Sorry.
It's in Japan.
Is that an Avengers movie? What are we getting?
I think no, it's the
it's an Avengers game. Yeah.
From it's the Tomb Raider guys, yeah?
Yeah, and Square.
Okay, cool, yeah.
But there have been, especially with the earlier films, there was an Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
Like a third-person action Iron Man movie.
It's really bad.
Which you've played on Caravan of Garbage.
Not yet. I've played it because I want to get up to the bit where you actually get in the Iron Man suit. But it's so boring.
Oh, fuck, so you just play as Tony Stark for a while?
Yeah, no, because you're in the cave and then
just attending fancy soirees and offending people, yeah.
You bust out in the his first suit, and then I'm in the city in a silver suit shooting drones, and it's just so boring and bad that I haven't, because I want to get up to the red suit. So I can play from
That's
there.
not even the worst Iron Man game. There's I hesitate to even call it a game, but there's an Iron Man 3 game that's on iOS.
Yeah,
and it's an endless runner, or it's I guess an endless flyer, and it's just flying to the screen, flying to the screen, flying to the screen, shoot some bad guys, flying to the screen. But it's all microtransactions, because Iron Man 3 was the movie where there were 42 different Iron Man suits, and so the appeal is you can either grind for weeks and buy the suits with the tokens, or you can pay $109.99 and purchase all the suits.
Yeah.
How many dollars did you spend?
$0.
Did you download it?
Yes. Seems like a trap, but all right. Yes, I did.
No, that's fine. You're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
That's fine. You make your own decisions. But I think, though, there's more incentive to make crap mobile games now because they cost
cheaper,
less and they probably make more.
Because people are idiots.
Yeah. And you just make some weird gem game and people...
I can't wait until your kid is old enough to hit that microtransaction button.
Yeah.
Is there like a gem, like Candy Crush-esque game where you like trying to like match the Infinity Stones?
There must be something.
Should we make that and
we should
become rich?
Yes,
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
Is it as easy as that?
There is a good one. There is an okay one though. It was in the video. The Captain America game it's got the Arkham combat.
Right.
And that makes it okay.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
But the other one, like Thor's really terrible.
Or you can survive pretty much on one button for hours.
Yeah.
And it goes for hours.
It
We
really
played it
does.
for hours.
We really did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
hoping for something exciting to happen.
That game's
And it never did.
actually written by a really famous comic book writer, Matt Fraction. Who,
Is it really?
Yeah, who wrote like Thor Run for a while, and now writes like Sex Criminals and many other great comics. But what's crazy about Thor, it's called Thor: God of Thunder, and it was linked to the first movie.
Yep.
And when it came out, there's a version for 3DS, which is them trying to make a 3D action game on a 3DS. So it's just an absolute piece of shit. But for the DS, it's a like sprite-based platformer where you like level up and get like more powers for your hammer, a la God of War or whatever.
Right.
It's incredible. It's made by WayForward, the guys who make Shantae, and they also made Aliens Isolation, which is another really great DS platformer.
They did an Isolation? Okay, I didn't even know.
Yeah, is it the DS one?
The new one.
No, Infestation. Aliens Infestation.
Okay, right, yeah.
Maybe that's what it's Aliens I something.
Now, has Matt
Aliens
Fraction ever apologized
iCarly.
for...
What's that?
Has Matt Fraction ever apologized for Thor? God of Thunder.
Should we call him?
We should call him, yeah.
But it is, that is like a more recent instance of them making an entirely different and sometimes better game for a different console.
Yeah,
That
right.
isn't the one that's not remembered.
Yeah, no, because I remember you posted that in the group as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a bunch of shit games on here. Do you just want to rattle through them? And
Sure.
we can, and you guys can just boo them, okay? So we'll
Or
get-
yay. You can yay.
You can yay. You
But
won't
most
get
people would be
cheese,
booing.
but yeah. So, all right, start at the top, James. You do it.
Sure, okay, what do we got here? Karate Kid. Yeah, boo. It's really. There's only 4 levels, but the last level is impossible.
That's a man overcoming bullying and becoming a champion. How dare you bully
And he was
that?
a man. I think he was 24 when, when he made that movie. Okay, Fight Club I want to talk about quickly because it's a fighting game.
It's a one-on-one fighting game, yeah.
But
it is.
it's got a wrinkle.
Well, it encapsulates, I think, the very worst of movie-time games.
Guys. Never talk about Fight Club.
Boo Levins.
Boo Levins. Boo Levins.
It's got a few interesting things going for it. One of them is it's got the broken bones mechanic. It does which I think Mortal Kombat later adopted.
I think what it because it's a movie entirely about relentless the problems of relentless consumerism and being a toxic man and all this sort of stuff, and fighting isn't going to solve your problems, and then it's just a one-on-one fighting game where you like break people's necks and stuff.
But it's not only that. There's a few bonus characters. One is Lincoln, who's mentioned in the movie.
President Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, Brad Pitt mentions how he wants to fight him, and
a character who's never mentioned in the movies.
Yeah, and the other one is Fred Durst. You can unlock Fred Durst from Limp
from Limp Bizkit. Yeah,
He doesn't have a song on the soundtrack. I don't know why he's in the game.
The most toxic man that ever existed.
And he's very. They've just used the regular Fight Club sprite, so he's very trim. But he's got the signature red hat and all the tattoos and whatever.
And nobody knows what he's like behind those pixelated
Nobody knows!
eyes.
I did some detective work when it came out because I'm like, how did this happen? There's a Limp Bizkit lyric where he does mention how many times he's seen Fight Club. He's seen it at time of recording. He'd seen it 28 times, so maybe that was the reason he gets put in. He's also in a WWE or WWF SmackDown game because the Undertaker's theme at the time was "Rollin'" by Limp Bizkit,
Right.
Air Raid Vehicle. This
is now a Fred Durst panel.
I know a lot about Fred Durst. So his compensation for letting them use Roland in the game was he had to be a playable character in the game. So he's in that WWF game. Yeah, but Fight Club, no idea.
So you can't even play as Meatloaf?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Meatloaf is in the game. No, Robert Paulson
is
in the game. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
So you can play as
Voiced by
Meatloaf. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. Brad Pitt's character.
Does he sing?
He does not sing. No.
Jeez. Terminator Salvation is terrible. That's a more recent. I think there was a last gasp of console era games.
Yep.
Which was in the PS3, Xbox era, Xbox 360 era. That's one game though where you can play through with 2 people, which we did at the time.
Yep.
And it's impossible for the entire thing, and the Terminators are unkillable, and at the end you just get a rocket launcher, and you just and then it's over immediately when you get the rocket launcher, and it's not a good game. Yeah.
Because you fly to heaven.
That's
the
right.
rocket launcher.
Yeah. Anyone play either Jaws Unleashed on the PlayStation 2 or Jaws on the Nintendo, original Nintendo? Both
Not
great
one
games.
person. Oh, one person. All right.
Yes.
Want some cheese?
You want some cheese? Okay, fair enough. Why would you eat this? Yeah. Any other ones stand out here before we move
We got
on?
Back to the Future NES, which I never played, but that did jog my memory that we haven't mentioned any of the Telltale games.
Okay, yeah.
So there's Back to the Future, obviously The Walking Dead, which is TV, but
Yeah,
still
yeah.
counts. I always viewed them as like, why would you play a game in which you don't actually play a game of something that you can just watch anyway without having to hold a controller while you watch
Yeah.
it? But maybe I'm wrong for thinking that.
Maybe you are wrong.
But that said, my company still exists.
That's a good point. Throwing shade. That is brutal.
So that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And now we are going to go through a comparatively short list of movies that have been based on video games, and we're going to work out.
Is there a good one?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, before I go through this list, I'm going to without even looking at the full list, I'm going to argue that I think the Angry Birds movie might be the best video game movie.
You might be
ever
right.
made.
You might actually be right. I haven't seen it, but yes.
So we've got Super Mario Brothers from 1993.
Is that the first?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
According to Wikipedia, a very trustworthy site
No,
that
it is-
no
it
one
is,
can
yeah.
edit.
Wow. That is a horrible start.
And see, that's because you don't... Why not an animated movie, you know? It's just you don't... He's just a plumber and his girlfriend gets kidnapped and he rescues her. That's all you need to know.
No,
You
there's
don't-
a separate
you-
dinosaur dimension. And it's where
Exactly.
people evolved from dinosaurs.
Yeah,
and
I guess you're right.
Nothing looks like anything from the game.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
It's Blade Runner, sort of, but everything's covered in fungus.
Apparently, Dennis Hopper and Bob Hoskins
Dennis
hated
Hopper
that
from
movie
Easy
so
Rider.
much,
Yes.
that they just got drunk every day
Yeah.
of making that movie. But John Leguizamo is really, really apparently a very kind man who still to this day goes to fan events for the
Does
Super
he
Mario
really?
Brothers movie, and they ask him about it, and they're like, "Oh, what was Bob like?" He's like, "Oh yeah, he loved making the Super Mario Brothers movie."
You can't defame a dead man, so, that's why he does that.
Good casting. Those two?
Yeah, it's an
good
all-star
casting.
cast, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Double Dragon is next. In
Never
fact,
seen
the next
it.
5 ones are all fighting movies.
Well, Double Dragon was good enough that they made a video game of the movie.
That's
so,
right, yeah.
That features Robert Patrick. That again has somewhat of a great cast.
I think it's just the
it's just
one,
Robert
though.
Patrick. Yeah, it's just Robert
Isn't
Patrick.
it
It's
Scott
Scott
Wolf?
Wolf
Yeah.
of Party of Five,
Party of Five.
as Billy, and
Yep.
then Mark Dacascos as Jimmy,
Yes.
obviously, karate legend Mark Dacascos.
Yep.
And there's a magic amulet, so
Okay. Is
pretty
that
good, right?
accurate?
No,
Okay.
no, not at all. Again,
Is it better than Angry
it's
Birds?
just-
Which none of us have seen.
No. I'm going to say no, but again, there's no magic amulet. It's just it's another kidnapped girlfriend game. So
Street Fighter is next, featuring our very own Kylie Minogue.
It's fun, that movie.
now Kylie, yeah,
Yeah, it's not good, but it's fun and dumb, and they got all the costumes right, and I don't... Remember when Dalsim showed up at the end? The guy got his hair
Dr.
singed off, and they
Dalsim, yeah.
just went, this guy's Dalsim. Remember that?
Yeah.
And Blanca was a guy who they kind of Clockwork Oranged him. Didn't they pin a VR
That's right.
headset to him and just made him watch war and
That gave me very unrealistic expectations of virtual reality. You know,
the game Street Fighter when
Yeah,
I
for
eventually
sure.
played it. But, yeah. I mean, it's bad, obviously, but I think it's better than Legend of Chun-Li, which is just boring.
Yeah. So next we have Mortal Kombat, and 2 years after that, Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Back to back.
You can leave it at that.
Good night, everyone. Mortal Kombat is, I think that's in
Christopher Lambert.
That's in the upper echelon. I think there's enough. And again, it is what it says on the tin. It's an interdimensional battle to save the world, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. And they threw in Scorpion, they threw in Sub-Zero, they threw in a bunch of catchphrases.
They said their names when the characters showed up.
exactly, yeah. Mhm.
The Mortal Kombat. And they had the song. Mortal Kombat.
Wing Commander is next. Does anyone remember Wing Commander, featuring the dynamic duo of Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard before they were...
Scooby-Doo Zone. Yeah.
Exactly.
The Do Crew, yeah, I remember
Do you
those
reckon
guys.
someone was watching Wing Commander and was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Works. Yeah. They went off and did separate horror franchises.
And then they saw Johnny English and they were like, let's put Rowan Atkinson in Scooby-Doo for some reason as well.
These two
Yeah,
don't
he
work.
should have seen it.
These don't work. These two don't work together. But if we had some sort of interim animated dog character, I think they could really bounce off one another. You know?
Lara Croft Tomb Raider is next in
Garbage.
2001.
I've only seen the second one, and it's not
Or
good.
have you seen the first one? They blew
No.
together.
No, I've seen this. I've definitely... Because we saw the second one. It's the one where she gets the Pandora's box.
Oh, the Cradle of
And
Life,
at the
sure.
end, she thinks about opening it.
Uh huh.
Just
Then what
don't.
happens? Oh,
She
yeah.
doesn't.
Oh, cool.
But you wouldn't even consider it. Why would you... Anyway, sorry. It's a whole other thing.
But what could be? What's the worst thing
It's
that can
just
happen?
smoke and monsters or whatever. Why would you open it? That's all I'm saying. You wouldn't even... Because I think she even shifts it from memory. What do you think's in there? What the fuck do you think's in there? Sorry.
Who's the better, if the movies are the older ones better or worse than the new Tomb
I
Raider?
think they're more earnest in some ways.
Are they more forgivable in the same way that like Daredevil with Ben Affleck is better than like Dawn of Justice?
Is it?
Is it though?
Well, just like because it's like they didn't know what they were doing back then.
Lock the doors. We're having a debate about this. It's going to go another hour.
I see what you're saying.
You know, it's like how could a DC movie be so bad now? Because we've cracked the code.
We've figured out the code.
We know how to
exactly,
make a superhero movie now
right, okay.
that isn't terrible. How are these still terrible?
Yeah, okay.
Whereas back then it's like no one had any fucking idea how to make a superhero
that's a good
movie.
point. Yeah.
Just Evanescence and a guy living in a bath. He slept in a bath. Yeah, all right. You're probably right, Levins. All right.
Resident Evil is next with Mila Jovovich.
It's all right. She scissor kicks the dog. The rubber
Those
dog.
are all just
my favourite part.
Just fine and immediately forgettable.
So
and
we've
as
got
I think
one,
we've
two.
had this discussion, James. Each of those movies has one memorable moment in
Yeah.
it, and when the next movie comes out, you go, "Oh, remember the time she kicked the dog? Let's see this one." And then you're like, "Oh no, this is garbage." You say, "Oh, there's a scene where she drives a plane into a whole bunch of zombies and they get chopped up in the propeller."
Yeah.
That's it.
There
Name
you're right.
another thing that happens
So
in any of those.
there are 6 Resident Evil movies.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, the most successful
Are some
video
animated,
game
though?
franchise turned movie. What's it, sorry?
Some animated?
I don't think so.
There's an animated section? No.
I think there are some, right? Right?
Are there? Okay, sure. I don't know, Wikipedia. Oh, no. Oh, wait, no, there's shitloads. There's a Japan section.
That's not.
No, that's some weird stuff. No.
I'm not here for that.
We're not technical guys. It's no, thank you.
And another thing about Kingdom Hearts. So we have House of the Dead.
Haven't seen it.
That's
Alone
that's
in
an
the-
Uwe Boll. That
Yeah.
he's got his own. See that I miss the days when Uwe Boll had a tax loophole that enabled him to make movies.
So does he.
Yeah.
Alone in the Dark.
The House of the Dead actually has video game footage in it. Like
Right.
there's a scene where they just cut
It's
to
like, oh, fuck it. That's
yeah,
it.
it's just hey, let's shoot these zombies, and then it just cuts to the game where people are shooting
Do you know
zombies.
that there's a House of the Dead teaches typing arcade game?
Really?
Yeah, in Japan it's like teaches you how to like learn how to type English.
Is it like just a proper, or is it like
Yeah,
a
and you
big
have to like
keyboard?
be like cat, and then it shoots the zombie.
Do you have to yell cat also?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's reading and typing. Got it.
Doom. The Rock's first foray into making video games.
It's not
An
really
audible
like it.
murmur just went across the crowd.
Yeah.
People are like, "What do we think about Doom?"
It's not
I think that's goodwill for The Rock mostly.
Yeah, they kind of complicate it.
Is it the first instance of like blatant fan service where it's like we're gonna do a first person
yeah.
like
Yeah, maybe.
But again, it was that. But it was also we're not going to go to hell in this. It was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
mutants.
And it wasn't
like,
hell?
Why not go?
Was
why
it
not
hell
go-
or was it?
No,
it was
Mars.
Yeah, and you'd get a disease that would make you a Carl Urban an angel, or you'd turn to a demon or whatever. Wasn't that was it, right? Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm not. Okay. Thought I was having a stroke then.
Why didn't they make the Simpsons Doom movie?
Oh right.
Doom
Yeah.
mod?
What an era.
Blood Rain? I don't even know what that is.
Mila Jovovich, Uwe Boll.
You guys do. Okay.
Yeah.
Silent Hill?
Oh, wait,
Fine.
no, Kristana Loken. It was Kristana Loken.
Was it?
That's actually pretty good. That
Yeah,
one's
Silent Hill's
solid.
alright.
Yeah.
You have an insane encyclopedic knowledge of shitty movies.
We watched a lot of these.
We've seen all these.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Silent Hill does Triangle Head really well.
Okay.
That's true.
None of these other movies do.
No, definitely not.
Don't try. He knows. Don't try and correct him. Don't say it. He knows. He knows what it is.
Dead or Alive?
Uwe Boll.
That has. No, I don't think it is. But it's
Isn't it?
It's Eric Roberts as the villain. Julia
and is it
Roberts'
Holly
cousin.
Valance?
Holly Valance is in
Yeah.
that movie. Yeah, as a Muay Thai kickboxer. Yeah. Mhm.
Great.
We have Postal.
Uwe Boll.
Postal is maybe the worst movie ever made.
It has a rating of 22 out of 100, which is
Okay.
more than Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li,
All right.
and Far Cry, which is coming out very soon,
Postal-
which has NA.
Okay,
in the
well let
review.
okay, well let me set
was
the
never
scene.
submitted.
Let me set the scene for the movie Postal. There's 2 terrorists in a plane cockpit, and they're arguing over how many virgins they're going to get when they die, and then they decide that actually they don't want to die. They'd rather fly this plane to the Bahamas, and then the passengers who are in the hijacked plane, they revolt and they attack the hijackers, and then the plane crashes into the World Trade Center towers.
Is that a dream you had?
No,
or is
that's the start of the movie. That's the start of the movie. Yeah, and it gets worse. So
Then what happens?
I can't remember.
that is absolute madness.
Yeah,
Max Payne.
boring.
Yeah, boring. Apparently, Mark Wahlberg didn't play the games, but he watched somebody else play them in preparation. That's the only thing I know about Max
he just
Payne.
did bicep curls while his assistant played the games. Speaking of a man who could have stopped 9/11.
Prince of,
So
He said it.
says.
He didn't say
That's
I
what
didn't
he
say it. It's
said.
a quote from him.
Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time.
That was the best one, I think. I think that movie's fine.
You reckon that's the best one?
No, up until other things.
Up until Angry Birds.
Up until Angry Birds, yeah. I think it's fine.
I mean, it's woefully...
Miscast?
Yes, because it's a whole bunch of English and American actors playing swarthy Middle Eastern gentlemen.
Yeah, and they do a great job, you're right. So I just finished your set. That was what you were going to say.
That was what I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
We finish each other's racial vilification.
That's right.
That's how we're such good friends.
Tekken?
Yeah, has anyone seen the Tekken movie? Which has a rating of 0%.
Is it real people?
Is Gon in it? Does Gon fart? I'm in if he does.
I've never heard of that.
Need for Speed.
Aaron Paul
Boring.
from Breaking Bad. Yeah,
You've actually seen. You've almost seen all of it.
I haven't seen it. I've seen the first 10
seen
minutes.
I was talking to Nick.
Oh,
yeah. I've seen it again. Like there's a Call of Duty game. There's a Call of Duty movie coming up at some like in the near future. That's just a war movie. Like you don't.
But isn't there meant to be a Tetris movie coming soon?
Probably.
It was like 3 movies. Isn't it confirmed that they're making 3 Tetris movies?
Yeah, that sounds right.
There's the origin of the bricks. Where do the bricks come from? That's the prequel. Then the bricks live in their lives, and then what happens after the bricks have disappeared? Where do they go? You know?
Where do they go?
And then we have
Tetris Afterlife.
I would love if they're actually like the best trilogy. Like
maybe
to us 5 years from now. Like,
anything can be good, except anything on this list which can't be good.
Now we have some big budget ones. We got Warcraft.
Yeah, this is the year. People like this. Look,
a cheer, except for one person who said, "Oh."
That was an orc. He meant to say, "Yeah." I think that's all he could say.
That was a cum, I think.
It feels earnest. Like it feels like there's genuine love in it. I like that director a lot. I just think it's not really for me. And it looks really expensive for a movie that tagged hard. Yeah,
but it did really well in China, and
yes, it did.
So apparently, we are getting a sequel at some point. Maybe
the story.
That's how things go now.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed is shortly after that. So that was
shit.
Someone just yelled out, "What?"
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Michael Fassbender,
in 2016, it was like, this is the year, motherfuckers. We're going to nail it this year.
I thought that too.
We've got Warcraft. We've got Assassin's Creed. We've got Angry Birds.
You made a very bold proclamation that of Assassin's Creed and Warcraft, one of them was going to be great.
I said great, didn't I? Yeah. And what's the next?
You said words, didn't you? Yeah. And Assassin's Creed is the one that I couldn't get to. I think Warcraft burned me out, and I'm like, again, it's a movie about a video game in which you look at your old memories. But in the game, like ancestral memories, but in the game you are actually playing those. So in the movie you are just watching a guy. It's like Gogglebox, but from the Dark Ages. You know, what's the point?
And isn't it mostly set in the present day or the future?
I guess, but and
he's on a big crane.
Yeah, he's on a crane.
Like swinging him around, which I love. Yeah, because I want to see if he actually misses a jump.
It was going to be a Bob the Builder game, but the license fell through.
And then this year we have Tomb Raider at the start of the year.
I like that one. I think that's the best. I haven't seen Angry Birds, but I think Tomb Raider's all right.
I think it's pretty solid, and there's some good interaction between. And again, I think they were like, okay, the Tomb Raider reboot is really solid, and they're like, they took the best elements of that, and there's some good chemistry between her, Alicia Vikander, and Dominic West, who plays her father. I think that's pretty good.
He's got a good wig.
How many tombs get raided?
One tomb, and there's a line.
I suppose it's not called Tombs Raider.
Yeah, there's a line that's in the trailer, but they cut it out of the movie where one of the characters goes, "Open the tomb," and I guess they were like, bit on the nose. Yeah.
Disagree.
Yeah.
We also got Rampage this year.
Yeah, that's right.
Which The Rock proclaimed as the best video game movie ever.
He's wrong. It's terrible.
And then Bethesda, who make Doom, were like, "Oh,
yeah,
that's pretty
a great Twitter exchange."
That's pretty great. Yeah.
So coming up soon, we have Pokemon Detective Pikachu,
voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
that could be something.
It should have been DeVito.
Yes, it should have been DeVito. You're right.
And we have the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Have people seen the pictures of that where they're filming it? Because it's real people. Like it's James Marsden is a sheriff, and they're just talking to nobody in like a weird small town.
Is it James Marsden's character from Westworld?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
And Jim Carrey is like Eggman.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, but how big is?
And is Paul Rudd in it? Someone just yelled out no, and I don't know if they're saying that I'm wrong or they just can't believe that exists. Yeah, there you go, sweet.
Ben Schwartz is Sonic.
Oh, wow, okay.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
This sounds great.
something.
This could surpass Angry Birds as the best video game movie that I haven't seen.
I hate this kind of thing, though, where they come into the real world. Just make it all animated. Why does it need this weird blend of a cartoon
No, there needs to be
nightmare?
a parallel universe where people evolved into really fast hedgehogs. That's what we need, all right?
We're also getting a Mario movie from the guys that gave us Minions.
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo are really
But
careful
for
about...
those who aren't here, the entire crowd stood up and applauded.
What was I going to say?
Just got Nintendo very...
Yeah, they're more careful with their properties. I mean,
Yeah.
look what they did with that one where that Ubisoft one, that game that you love.
Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom
Yeah,
Battle.
I think they're probably invest more time and they're really careful about. What
Yeah,
they're
no,
doing
sure,
with it,
yeah.
So I think that could be as good as Sonic, if not slightly worse.
And finally, Monster Hunter, which is being made by the same guys that did Resident Evil.
It is
Which
too,
it just feels
isn't
like,
it?
why not turn on new... I don't know. Start something new.
Oh, and it's
Yeah.
Mila Jovovich again,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
I think it's the same director for some of
Her
them.
husband, yes.
Paul W.S. Anderson. Paul
That's right.
Anderson. The bad one of the two, the two Pauls. Yeah. Wow, what a time to be alive.
So I think, judging from our...
No one said that with less enthusiasm anywhere in the world at any point. Wow. What a time to be alive.
We're 2 minutes over. And so I think it comes as no surprise to anybody that movies based on video games clearly worse in every single way. Do you think there's any redeeming qualities to any of these?
No.
No. All right. Our work here is done. Who wants some cheese? How many
4
cubes are
people
left?
can have cheese.
Okay, let's get a knife. We're going to cut them into really tiny, thin strips.
And you have to eat cheese. I'll be standing at the door as everybody's filing out.
If you're lactose intolerant, you can eat the cheese. You have to eat the cheese, but you can spit it out later. But we will be watching it.
I just want to say a quick thank you to the guys, the tech guys at the back. Really appreciate you sorting us out and being really helpful. Levin's also for putting this all on. This was all his idea and sorting it out. Mason, you turned up on the day like
Don't
I
thank
did.
Mason.
We're here.
Yeah, we're
That's
here.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, we really appreciate you taking the time of flying down and doing all this.
And what about these dickheads?
No, thank you so much. We had no idea how many people were coming. Because we got no idea what ticket sales correlated to people coming in here. So when they said the room had 400 plus, we were like, well, that's not going to be good, is it? But it's mostly full.
And it's always been one of James's dreams to sing with a crowd of 300-ish people. What song was it again?
The theme to 300. Everybody. Here we go. I don't know.
But thank you so much for coming today. Of course, make sure you listen to The Weekly Planet and subscribe to James's YouTube channel.
And Hey Fam, which is a great podcast as well about video games. And
300 Spartans on the wall. 300 Spartans on the wall. If one of them happens to be kicked into an endless pit, 299 Spartans on the wall.
Everybody!
There we go.
Great ending.
Good.
That was